In today's video, we're going to be going over some fragrances you can't pass up if you want to have the best collection possible. So realistically, you could take these 7 fragrances that we're going to talk about today and purchase them and have that be your entire fragrance collection. I think we've got a decent variety to where that could work. Now, you might want to swap out maybe 1 or 2 of the winter scents for, another spring or summer scent instead if you were to do that, depending on where you live and your climate and or what you prefer, right? You could make those adjustments. But this video is more intended for people who already have a collection built up. You've gotten a collection that is kind of established and you're trying to figure out where you want to go with it next. You know you're not done purchasing yet, but you're trying to think, what can I add to it to get even more value out of it? That's where I would say that these 7 fragrances would really help take it to that next level. And we'll explain why I think that for each one of these as we go through this video, but we're going to start off with Parfums de Marly Layton. So one of my favorites from Parfums de Marly, one of my favorite niche fragrances. It smells amazing. And what's nice about this is, yeah, it's a niche scent. However, it's very mass pleasing. It's kind of designer level, really. It's not something that is overly challenging, we'll put it that way. This one has a lot of vanilla, apple, tonka bean, some warm spices in here as well. And then also what you'll notice when you smell this is this kind of green, almost minty, refreshing smell or feeling that you get when you actually smell this one, almost like a menthol, approach to this one that you pick up on, which is interesting and maybe not something that's fully expected. I know for me, when I tried this for the first time, I wasn't really expecting to pick up on that, but you do. So it's kind of the perfect combination of, sweet and mass-pleasing, but also just a little bit of a green touch as well. I love Layton, and I'm not the only one. This is by far their most popular release. And there are also many clones as well. If you don't want to spend the money on this, you could go for something like Al Haramain Detour Noir. That's $20, gets you very close, and really is one of the best clones out there that you can get for the money. But I think when it comes down to ultimate versatility, this is going to give you that, because you could wear this in more casual situations, day-to-day use in fall and winter time. But honestly, you could use this in a more dressed up environment as well. Now, it's not straight up suit and tie smelling. There's still a level of playfulness and kind of a casual type of smell about it, but there's no reason why you couldn't wear this in more of a evening out dinner format or something along those lines. I think this could work easily. It would also be a great date night scent as well, just given the sweetness and kind of the slight playfulness that this one does have. Great performer out of Layton. That's another reason why it's so popular. 1, it's a mass-pleasing scent. 2, it just smells really good, nice, sweet, and vanillic. And 3, it's a great performer. Also, the clones typically perform really good as well, so that's another bonus. This type of DNA is kind of built for performance due to the focus on all of the sweeter, heavier notes that they do utilize. This next one is Tom Ford Noir Extreme in the Parfum format. This is personally the one I would recommend getting. It's a little bit more money than the EDP, but to me, you're already most of the way there. If you're committed to buying Noir Extreme, to spend a little bit of extra money and get the Parfum, I think it's better in every way. Primarily, the reason why is because they're introducing some leather, and so that gives this overwhelmingly sweet DNA a little bit more of a masculine backbone. It has much better performance. I've never gotten the best performance out of the EDP version, whereas a lot of people have. Just kind of one of those things where some people do, some people don't. I never have, and it was always kind of I wouldn't say a resentful purchase, but it was one where I never really felt fully satisfied with my purchase of Noir Extreme EDP. And this Parfum came out. Of course, I was going to get it, and after trying it and wearing it, I realized, man, I like this one a lot better. Performs better, lasts longer, and just the leather in here really is a nice added touch to the DNA, because you get that kind of sweet gourmand kulfi note, which again, it's some sort of dessert I'm not familiar with, but it is a sweet, edible, gourmand smelling scent. And the leather at least attempts to give it a little bit of a balancing point to take some of the sweetness off and just give us a little bit more of a masculine edge. That's why I prefer this Parfum, and I think it smells great. This ultimately is something that is unique. It's the same thing with regular Noir Extreme EDP, right? It's a DNA that you don't really smell all that often, and is kind of on its own. You know, it's not something that smells a lot like anything else. So it's a good way to stand out, especially in fall and winter time. That's when I will be wearing this one. And to me, you know, it's a nice added addition to your collection. If you want something for winter that is going to be a little bit unique. All right, now let's move into something that is more so summer based. You can wear this in spring as well, but I think it has summer written all over it. It is Acqua di Gio Profondo. Most already have this by now, but if you don't, well, you should consider picking one up at some point. Actually, these giant 200 milliliter bottles are on sale right now, 136 bucks. I'll link it down below if you have any interest in that. It's a lot of scent for the price. I mean, I think the 100 ml bottles go for somewhere around, I think 90 or maybe 95, something along those lines. I could be off on that. So when you think about it, essentially an extra 40 bucks and you're getting double the amount, right? It's just, you know, that is a ton of scent right here. If you've ever seen 200 milliliter bottles, I mean, it would take you a long time to go through this. But this is all about the mineral notes, the watery kind of aquatic notes. Of course, it's an Acqua di Gio with bright citrus off the top, but it smells oceanic. It smells like minerals. It smells like what you would imagine the ocean to smell like, minus that salty seaweed type of smell. And so the way I kind of like to describe this one is, think of Bulgari Aqua. Everybody smell it for the most part. That's a marine scent, right? It has that seaweed, it has that saltiness. Not everybody likes that. It's a pretty realistic smelling marine scent. This is kind of like that, but minus the salty aspects of it. It's basically taking away the challenging aspects of something like Bulgari Aqua Marine and then kind of going about that direction, so to speak, because there's really nothing about this one at all that is challenging in the slightest. Again, it's an Acqua di Gio, and this line has been established for so many years, so many flankers. They have it down to a science now, and this is yet another one that just, it works. Now, this was released in 2020, so I mean, it's going on 6 years old now already, which is just crazy how fast time goes. But, you know, when this first came out, I hadn't really smelled any other aquatic like it. It really is a unique DNA. Just the direction that they went with this one hadn't been done before anywhere else that I had smelled. And even now, 6 years later, still something that is so unique, so interesting smelling. I love this stuff. Now let's kind of switch gears back to fall and winter. Again, we still got about another month left to where we could be wearing stuff like this, or at least around here anyway. It is Dolce Gabbana The One. This is the newest Parfum. It has amber, tobacco, and labdanum with some orange off the top, which they swapped out grapefruit for orange here with the Parfum. So interesting take there. But it smells absolutely breathtaking. This stuff is amazing. What they've done, and I've already done, you know, a video on this, but they took the amber accord and they just bumped it up even more. Still pick up on that tobacco. The labdanum is also another key component here. It's ultimately a much more sweet, rich, and full-body take on Dolce Gabbana The One EDP. The other thing is, this Parfum has really, really good performance. Great longevity. Projection, it's not like a projection beast, you know. This is still a pretty tame scent. It stays relatively close, which is okay with me. It more so leaves a trail. But the main thing that has always been bothersome to everybody is the performance in terms of longevity of Dolce Gabbana The One EDP, and this solves that. Now keep in mind, it's not exactly like the One EDP. It's a little bit different. Sweeter, heavier, more amber focused. Kind of like an MFK Grand Soir type of amber as well, if you're familiar with that. So, you know, not exact, but to me, this is by far the very best Dolce & Gabbana The One I have ever smelled. And they do also have the One EDP 2025, which is supposed to be a reimagined version of the EDP, not really changing a ton of the scent, more so improving the performance. You know, the latter part is not so much. Performance is a little bit better, but not enough to where it's, you know, like super, super noticeable in that type of way, at least on my skin. To me, the One Parfum is the much better purchase here. It smells absolutely amazing, and to me, it's a no-brainer must. Let's go for something that is perfect for spring, which is going to be coming up. It's Invictus Parfum. You might not expect something like this to be a spring scent. I mean, it's a Parfum. Typically, when we look at our Parfum concentrated scents, especially from the Invictus series, which is, you know, can be sweet sometimes, I guess I just wasn't expecting this, but here we are. It has soap, marine notes, lavender, and musk. It's one of the more soapy, clean, and fresh Invictus fragrances that we've had so far. It's not citrusy and aquatic like Invictus Aqua is. Rather, it's a little bit more smooth, soapy, and musky based. And because of that, it is a little bit more versatile, to me anyways, because, you know, you can wear this in spring, you could wear it in summertime as well. I also think that you could wear this in fall and winter. I mean, I know you could, right? You could, you know, typically it's easier to wear fresh things in colder weather than it is to wear sweet things in warmer weather. So yes, you can wear this, but I think it's more of an all year round type of scent. But if I had to choose one season for it, it would be spring. I think it has kind of everything I would look for in a spring scent. You know, fresh and musky, but not like overly summery, citrusy, but of course not too sweet either, kind of in the middle ground. Because it's an Invictus flanker and because Invictus is viewed as Invictus, this is kind of a hit or miss one, but it's actually impressive to me anyways. I'm surprised at how good this one is and how much I like it and reach for it. Really, really good flanker. Kind of running down to the end here with Bleu de Chanel. This is the Parfum. I think if you're gonna buy a Bleu de Chanel in 2026, I think I would still probably go for the Parfum. It's expensive, I know, you know, but you know, you could go for the EDP as well. The exclusive version is very expensive and I love it. However, it's not as Bleu de Chanel leaning as Bleu de Chanel EDP or the Parfum. It still has that DNA, but really it's kind of like Sauvage Elixir. It gets relatively far away. Now I will say, Bleu de Chanel exclusive has more Bleu de Chanel in it, whereas Sauvage Elixir basically has no Sauvage in it, if you see what I'm saying. So it's not that cut and dry there. It still does correlate with the line better, but again, it's expensive and it is much sweeter. I think the Parfum strikes the perfect balance of still having that fresh kind of clean Bleu de Chanel smell that we have known for years, but adding in, you know, a little bit of a heavier nature, a lot of sandalwood that you're pulling from this one. But yet you do get a nice lemon zest note off the top to give it a little bit of a bright, punchy opening as well, which I really like, and we don't get that in any of the others. We get grapefruit off the opening and all of the others and some incense and stuff. No incense here, instead a nice bright lemon zest getting into some sandalwood and amber, of course. Just a little bit more smooth, a little bit more of a creamy take, but still has that Bleu de Chanel backbone. I love it, I really, really do, and I wear it a lot. I don't know if you can see, it's actually gonna be hard to show up, of course, but you know, I'm missing some. And keep in mind, this is a 150 ml bottle. Also keep in mind the state of my collection, you know. So to start putting a dent in anything is telling, because just to be honest, that doesn't happen very often with most of my stuff, especially because I'm kind of a creature of habit and I gravitate towards the same things often. So if you see a bottle that starts to have like a noticeable level that has been going down, that's because it really is one of my absolute favorites that not only I love to smell, but I also really love to wear as well. And this is one. And last up for this video, we have the new Azzaro Forever Wanted Absolu. Has whiskey, incense, vanilla, and woody notes. Some amber in here as well. I just did a video on this one a couple days ago, first impressions, and I love it. Now, you know, I haven't, of course, had a chance to update you on performance, so I'll do that. Beast mode. Very, very strong. Actually, it was giving my wife a headache. So I shot my first impressions video, put it on my skin, of course, and uploaded it to you guys and then went about my day. We ended up going somewhere later on, riding in the car together, and she was like, "What do you have on?" And I said, "It's the new Azzaro," and she was like, "It is really, really strong," and it was strong. It was kind of being a little bit bothersome to me as well. I just wasn't saying anything about it, and yeah, she mentioned a couple times how strong it was. I think she likes the smell. I just think it was a bit too much in a small area. So this is a strong scent, guys. When you go for this one, you might want to, you know, adjust your sprays accordingly when you're starting out, because it is a powerhouse. It's stronger than the Elixir version, Forever Wanted Elixir. It's probably even a little bit stronger than Wanted by Night, Most Wanted Parfum, because I've worn those quite a bit. Similar number of sprays. I didn't do a ton of sprays of this stuff either, and I've never really had that type of, you know, projection and just strength radiating from those. So I think this one might be the most strong one of the lineup here, but smells really nice. Nice boozy take, bright whiskey off the top, smoky, vanillic, woody, really, really good. And it's perfect for winter time. We're kind of running down to the end of winter, but I'll wear this one a bit more while I can. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. Some fragrances you can't pass up if you wanna have the best collection possible. Links will be down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.